Aloha, this is Harry from Kailua again. Let's go surfing today, since we're in Hawaii. I'm going to teach you how to surf using the song Wipeout on the guitar, but I encourage you ukulele players to want to try this too, because if you put a capo on the 5th fret of the guitar and you play these 4 strings, that's the ukulele. So vice versa, if you're a guitar player, pick up an ukulele and try it out. Okay, I'm going to teach on the first 4 strings because that's the ukulele. I'm going to teach you Wipeout for the purpose of teaching you timing. Music has to be in time for it to be music. So in this song, everything is going to be in beat. And it'll be after you memorize this, and you might want to work with a metronome. Now, when you first would work with a metronome, you know, the tick-tock thing, most people buy metronomes, and after they buy it, they try it out for a minute or two and find it frustrating and give up, and it sits somewhere collecting dust forever. You have to allow yourself to work with a metronome for at least, you have to force yourself 10-15 minutes until you get, it's a meditational kind of thing. It's very hard to stay in time, but we all have timing. We have a heartbeat. We do things in time. We chew our food, we walk, we run. So if someone plays out of time, you can tell, okay? So allow yourself to work with a metronome for a while. But here's a good song. I'm going to teach you this song in patterns, because it's good to memorize things in art. You look for patterns. So I'm going to keep one finger to a space, and we'll have it written out. This is your first initial pattern that you want to memorize. It starts and ends on this note. Okay, so I'm going to play it up to speed first. Now this is slow. Okay, now I don't want you to play it slow, 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 quick, 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 slow, because then in this song, everything has to be in beat. So our first goal is to learn this one pattern. After you memorize that pattern, I want you to play it 4 times in a row without stopping. So this is my first one. Repeat, this is my second pattern. This is my third pattern, doing exactly the same thing. And this is my 4th one. Okay, so after you learn that pattern, here's the next pattern. It's very similar. It's going to start on the 2nd string with your ring finger. In the long run, you can use any finger you want, but I want you to learn it with these fingers, because after you learn it with these fingers, the technique I want you to use is basically close your eyes and play. Because if you close your eyes and play, the instrument becomes part of you. So, but don't do it in the beginning, do it later, okay, after you memorize it. So here's the second pattern. It starts and ends on this note. Very similar. So this one will start and end on this one. On this string is exactly the same, and the same idea. You want to play everything the same speed. Okay, you're gonna do that pattern twice. So far, you got the initial one, the first pattern 4 times. Second one, 3rd one, 4th one. And then you're going to go to a new pattern. You're going to do this twice. Then you're going to go back to the original one 2 more times. Okay, so you got 2 different patterns so far. The first one went 4 times, second one went twice, and then you went back to the original one twice. Okay, middle section of the song. It's a little bit longer. I'll play it one time. It starts and ends on the same note. Since it's a little bit longer, I'm going to teach you in little patterns, okay? First, you want to memorize these 3 notes with these 3 fingers. Okay, so after you memorize this, then take this finger, move it to the 5th fret, or, well, yeah, because I'm going to call this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like you're on a ukulele. So after the first 3 notes, you're going to move this ring finger here to the 5th fret, play it 3 times, and then your first finger falls right there on the same string. Just memorize those 4 notes. So that's a little segment. So then after you memorize that, you put it together, you got the first 3, then you shift. Okay, next pattern. Your ring finger falls right here on the 5th fret, 2nd string twice, and then here twice. So next you want to memorize these 4 notes. And after you memorize it, you put it together. So here's the first 3, you shift, here's your 4, then here's your new section. Then after you memorize that, then take that finger, move it back down to the original position and play this 5 notes. So you just want to memorize this now. So you end up in the same spot you started the middle section. So that's your whole middle section. That's the hardest thing to remember. But I want you to keep it in this formation where I have 1 finger to a fret here for the first 3. Then we took that finger and moved it to the 5th fret position so that you have 1 finger to a fret for these 4 notes and then these 4 notes. And we're going to take the same 3 fingers and shift back down. So that completes the middle section. So in time it would be, oops, I missed one. Okay, so the end of the song, you go back to the original pattern and you do it 1 pattern and a half pattern, I call it. Okay, so it's written down, you can read it. So this is 1 whole pattern again. Repeat for a half, so to speak. Right after that, you're gonna go back to the original note and you're gonna hit it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That 5th note is the very first note that you hit, so it's a loop now. So the song goes forever and ever and ever, okay? Unless you want to end it, then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is the beginning, then you play the next 3 notes, and that's where you would end the song, okay? So if you memorize this whole thing, you got 1 quick song that you can use. If you're a beginner, it's great because your fingers don't want to listen to you in the beginning, so it's great to, before you do chords, maybe just train 1 finger at a time. So here's the whole song, slow. So your goal is to just memorize it and play it with your eyes closed after you do. So here's your first one. So the 2nd pattern. Here's your 3rd pattern. Here's your 4th. Then you have to go to the next pattern and you can't stop. Forces your brain to think ahead by a split second. Back to the original 2. Middle section, shift. Shift back down, back to the original pattern, 1 1/2, 5 notes. And you can continue or end there, okay? Now, when you get to the point that you can play this with your eyes closed, and it gets pretty easy, then you can make it harder. You can, instead of these 3 fingers, switch them to these 3. And most beginners don't like to use the pinky because it's weak, but if you don't use it, it'll never get strong. So if you can play the whole song with these 3 fingers, it'd be great. It'll strengthen your muscles in here. And then after you get that to be easy, then you can start working with your right hand. Right now, maybe you want to start with just the thumb first, like I've been doing, right? But then you got 4 other fingers here, so maybe train each one. You can maybe train the first finger, pick this way first, You can use your nail if you have a nail, even if you don't have a nail, pick downwards. You get a different sound. If you use the side of your thumb, it's fleshy, so it's more mellow. Once you use any of these fingernails, it's brighter. Train each finger. Go with the middle finger or the ring finger. Use your pinky. Play games. Make your fingers walk. You can use ideas like take a pen or your finger, bounce it, use the side of your thumb. Experiment, find different ways to play the same thing. And the main goal is to just use this song as a memory exercise and to be able to play in time because it forces your brain to think ahead. And it's a game. It's like Wipeout. It means if you're learning to surf, you fall off the board, you get on the board again and try again until you learn how to surf. So this is your surfing lesson on the ukulele and the guitar. So check back and I'll give you another fun thing later on. Okay, aloha.